Hello, in this video we're going to look at an implementation of a linear search in Python 3. To do this we're actually going to search using a list. And there is a difference between a list and an array, which we won't get into in this sense. But the important thing to understand for the sake of this video is that when we look at a list, it's a collection of elements and we know the length of the list, so there are 7 elements in my list I've written, and the indexes go from 0 to 1 less than the length. So if we have 7 elements, the indexes are 0 to 6. So we're going to actually write our linear search as a function, and that's a really good idea to do. So I'm going to write a definition for linear search. And this function is going to take 2 parameters. It's going to take some list that I want to search, as well as some target value. We'll call it TV, target value. Now, before I actually go and search for this element, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this function to print out all the elements. And to do that, I'm going to use a for loop. So for I in range, and I'm going to set my range from 0, and I could put 6 here because I know, or sorry, I could put 7 here because I know that the length of the list I'm using is 7 elements long, and that means the for loop will go from 0 to 6. But again, if I change the size of my list, it becomes problematic. So I'm going to have the actual program detect the length of the list. And remember that a for loop is inclusive, exclusive. That's a really important thing here. So this is inclusive, exclusive. So if I just come down here now and I'm just going to say print, and I'm just going to print list at I, that's going to print out every element in the list. And now, it's not going to work yet if I run it. I'm just going to get it in program because I haven't actually invoked the method. So I'm going to invoke the method now by typing linear search, and I'm going to pass it list, and our target value will say 7 even though it doesn't matter right now. And there it goes. It prints out every element in my list. And it does that using this for loop. So for I in range, 0 to the length of list. What this means now is I could add whatever number I wanted at the end, and I run this. Now all I have to do is instead of printing a value, I just want to inspect the element that we're currently looking at. And remember, what a linear search does is it goes sequentially from the start to the end. So I'm just going to say if list at I is equivalent to the target value, and I'm going to print found, and I could say found at index I. And if I run this now, we see found at index 5 because I've passed it the target value of 7. Now let's look. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I could put not found if I want, but typically what a better thing to do here would be to actually return the element that is found at. So instead of saying found at index 7, I'm just going to return the index I. And what this does is as soon as I reach the return statement, the method stops. Or the function, sorry, too much programming in Java, the function stops. The term function and method are interchangeable, but in Python we tend to say function, in Java we say method. So if I make it through the entire for loop and never actually enter that if statement, then I know the element hasn't been found. So I'm just going to then return -1. So if I come down to where I invoke the method, I'm just going to say I'm going to invoke linear search and then return the value into that variable. So if I run this now, we see that 7 is found at index 5, but if I put 77, which is not in my list, I get -1. Again, a really common thing that programmers do is they use the value -1 to represent a situation when something isn't found. Now to finish this off, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go there. I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to come up here and write some information about this. So this method takes a list and target value as parameters. The method returns the index of the target value and then if the target value not found, the method returns -1. Now this isn't the formal way to write comments in a program, but it's fine for now. We're just kind of putting some documentation so I understand how this method functions. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to post them or ask. Have a great day.